Hey, what's up? Welcome to another rock hard tale of the tapes, best of cassettes. Today we're going to take a look at TKO, In Your Face. Came out in 1984. It was on Combat Records. I since have found out that this actually was recorded in 1981. Talking to lead singer Brad Sensel, he informed me this was actually put out in 81, which kind of changed my whole theory on the release, because I bought it in 84, 85. So it's a big gap there in the music world. In fact, Brad had even said when it came out, it was too heavy. Or when it was recorded, it was too heavy. But when it came out, it was deemed too light. So you can't win sometimes. Anyway, as far as, this gritty street kind of rock that came out, the early Motley Crues, the early Rats, Guns N' Roses actually didn't come out for quite some time after this. This is a very influential and very important release back in the day. I mean, this was just one of the better down and dirty kind of rock albums. For whatever reason, maybe what I was just stating, it's just the timing just wasn't right on this. Didn't get a full push. This Combat cassette I have, there's no liner notes. There's nothing in there. And even the it's printed backwards. Side 1 is on side 2 and vice versa. So it says on here it was marketed by Important. I can't even read that part. Regardless, I didn't find a lot of information out on the band, so it was kind of hard to follow them. They had one release before this in 1979, 78, 79. It was called Let It Roll, and that was really different than this one. It sounded more like, The Who, Mott the Hoople, had more of a classic rock sound. Now, I also found out from Brad that there was some material recorded between Let It Roll and In Your Face, which kind of ties the two together because there's a pretty big jump in the sound. If you were a fan of Let It Roll and you bought In Your Face, it was a little bit, whoa, what happened? They're pretty heavy and dark all of a sudden. So that's kind of what happened, but there was a transition period between the two albums. I tell you what, I just love this release. There's so many good songs on it, and it is just kind of a gritty, dark album. I mean, you got I Want to Fight on it, Working Girl, Danger City, All I Want to Do, Give In to the Night. It had a real metal kind of sound to it, and it was a darker album when it came out. And it kind of got stuck between maybe metal and, more of the hair bands, I guess, if you want to call it that. So maybe it just didn't find the right audience. I know they were very big overseas, but they never really quite hit it with radio here. I know they did a lot of touring, did a lot of big shows. They opened for a lot of big-name bands, too, so they were right in the mix. And, again, this is definitely one of those hidden gems. If you don't have this one, it is a little harder to find. I know it's been reissued once or twice at this point. So it's out there. You can find it. You can also, find the songs on YouTube, but, you want the real thing if you can. And, again, I'd like to know if anybody's cassette was printed backwards like mine was, too. It was a little confusing at first, but then I realized that's all I want to do, and it's playing I Want to Fight. So anyway, it was one of my favorites from that era. I think it's definitely top 5. When you put them in with the Faster Pussycats, the L.A. Guns, it kind of had that vibe to it, but even a little bit heavier. TKO, and again, some great material. Brad Sensel would go on to do many things, but maybe the other big thing he did was War Babies, and that was right at the beginning of grunge. That had a great sound too, but again, a little bit of the timing was off. They probably got labeled a little bit more in with the hair bands versus the grunge bands, so it never quite took off. But War Babies, also a very solid project if you can get a hold of that one. So anyway, TKO, In Your Face on Combat. Pick this one up. It is very solid from beginning to end. Production, a little dated, but that's kind of what I like about it. It sounds like it sounds like it was recorded live almost. It's almost a live album sound to it, you know, and it's just a really dark, gritty, nasty, sleazy, very heavy on the sleaze album. So pick it up. TKO in your face. See you next time for another rock hard tale of the tapes. Find us online at rockandahardplace.com.